Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm bringing you a review for the new Marvel Legends Rintrah Wave America Chavez from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This figure represents the live-action version of the comic book character who is making her MCU debut in this new Doctor Strange movie. So very little is known about her actual MCU background and personality, how much of, the comics backstory is going to, match up to the MCU one. I mean, Marvel Studios is known for making changes here and there where they see fit if they think it's going to help the overall story. All we really know at this point is that her universe-jumping powers are going to play very heavily into the plot of this movie, because it is centered around the multiverse. Anyway, if you've seen my reviews before, you know how this goes. We're going to take a look at America's packaging, then we'll open it up, get a quick look at her Build-A-Figure piece, and then see America herself. I'll be checking out her posability and her accessories. For posterity, I'll go ahead and throw in a group shot with Doctor Strange and Wong, who are also of this wave, and I reviewed them previously. And then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So America Chavez comes in, unsurprisingly, your standard Marvel Legends fare. You get the Build-A-Figure call-out on the top, you get her name and the name of the movie that she's appearing in, and then you see the figure, along with the Build-A-Figure piece, and then 2 additional hands. So she comes with closed fists, because she is known for using those in combat. And then she gets, the more open hands just for some dynamic poses and stuff. Then if we look on the sides, we get a nice render of the young actress who, I really can't get her name right, I'm sorry. I do apologize. But she does seem very charismatic and so far seems like a good fit for the character. A little younger than the America Chavez that we know from the comics. Or at least she appears that way, and I'm guessing they're, aging her down to show her at kind of a younger point in her life. I don't know the exact age of the character in the comics at this point, but I think she's a little more mature by where the story currently stands. All right, so you get, a fuller picture of her artwork here. Get her name and her flavor text, which reads, America Chavez is a young girl from another universe being hunted for her power, the unique ability to open doorways into the multiverse. So again, she's really a perfect fit for this movie because it all centers around what she can do. And then down here at the bottom, you get your wave layout, you get your Rintrah Build-A-Figure, and then you get the individual figures themselves, Doctor Strange and Wong, who we just reviewed previously, America, and then we get Master Mordo, an Astral Projection Doctor Strange, Despair, and Sleepwalker. So a pretty interesting wave. 5 out of the 7 tied directly into this movie, and then usually with the MCU-based waves, they tend to throw in some comic characters too, or some other miscellaneous characters, so that's what we're getting with these 2. So overall, pretty cool. Like the packaging, did a good job with the renders and all that. But now, it's time to go ahead and open it up. All right, now we have America out of her package, and she's a girl. This is easily one of the plainest Marvel figures I've ever seen. You see she has 2 alternate hands here for just more of an open-handed look. And of course, she does come with a very big piece of Rintrah, which is why, she's probably paired with this, because there's really not much to her. So, most of that budget went to this right here. Big old torso, which is actually quite articulated. Look at that. Nothing on there. Universal hips. And the tail, not only does it rotate, it just straight up comes out too, interestingly. So, I don't know. I'm going to pull his tail off again. But yeah, America herself, very plain. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good-looking figure. But I think maybe they'd include some sort of an energy effect piece or something to hint at the fact that she has some sort of power or, superhuman ability. Because as of right now, she just looks like your normal teenage, just 20-something, like, Latina American woman. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but not the most exciting Marvel figure, But she does look very good. The sculpting is very, very nice. The detail on the jacket, the way they get kind of that crackling effect on the white star to show that, it's on like a piece of denim and it's been worn a bit. She does have a little pride patch right there. For anyone that is not aware, one of the things that America Chavez is, kind of known for is being an LGBTQ Marvel hero. She is a lesbian. So, they do have that bit of her identity right there. I do wonder how much they're going to cover that in the movie. Marvel tends to, kind of shy around these things a little bit. But I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if they did not address it in her case, because she's a character that is very much known for her sexuality, right? Like, constantly championed amongst that community. So, yeah, the backlash I think would be huge if they didn't. So I'm sure we are gonna, get some backstory there, which will be the first time they really got into that, got into any sort of like a non-straight relationship or sexuality or anything. So that'll be interesting. Now her face presumably is, using that photorealistic printing process that like the Doctor Strange and Wong faces use. The thing is, though, you see so very little of America in the trailer so far, it's hard for me to say if they actually did a good job or not. I mean, I'm assuming they did. It looks realistic enough, but as far as matching the actual actress's face, I couldn't really say. And I mean, even if I looked at pictures of her, otherwise, actors tend to look very, very different between, different roles or glamour shots, so I couldn't really say. But you can see her head is fully articulated, though her hair and jacket do get in the way of that quite a bit. It looks like the jacket is a separate piece from her torso, and presumably if you like popped her arms off and maybe even her head, you could get the jacket off, but I'm not going to do that. Just leave it on. She just kind of got like a gray t-shirt underneath. Her arms are universal joints. Interestingly, she only has single bend elbows, which is something I've heard people complain about with female Legends figures, that they lack that double elbow bend, and I thought they had addressed that already based on some sort of like fan first something or HasCon little video I saw, but I guess not in her case. So she only gets not even a 90-degree elbow bend, which is kind of disappointing there. She does have the universal wrists. She has this upper torso ball joint, much like Wong does, but oddly, there is no waist swivel at all. She has no waist swivel. All you can do is turn her this way, which can start to look very uncomfortable there for her. So, really seems to be hurting the articulation department, both with, lack of articulation and then articulation that's blocked by lack of clearance. So that's weird. The hips do work really well, though. They can lift up pretty far. They can go forward and, well, they don't go back much at all. Butt kind of gets in the way. Really limited range here. Not as bad as Wong. Wong, he has severe clearance issues with his legs, so at least she's not hampered that badly. She does have the double bend knees, which go like all the way back, which is nice. Might hurt to go that far back, but you know what I mean. And then she has her ankle rocking, tilt, and rotation. So, like the legs seem to be the most posable part, and everything else is kind of a little wonky there, being honest. Kind of disappointing. Again, both aesthetically, because she really doesn't come with much of anything, but also functionally, I mean, she doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, I'm sure you can get some decent poses out of her, but when you compare her to not just other Legends figures, but heck, look at Masters of the Universe. Look at their Revelation line that, I've been covering quite a bit here in the last day or so. Their female molds, they're evil and all that, they have a double elbow bend. They pull that off just fine, so I don't know why she doesn't. Maybe they're worried it would ruin the look of her jacket or something, but I also think it's really weird that she doesn't have a waist swivel. I can't imagine there being any sort of necessity for gutting that. I think it was just a cost-cutting thing, really. So, weird choices there. Now let's go ahead and attach her alternate hands, just to see what those look like. So you can pop the fists out, put the other hands in. Be very careful, because she's got little delicate fingers here. That little thin plastic may not hold up very well. I'm really not sure how old America is supposed to be in this movie. She looks very, very young, but that might just be because the actress just looks young. I'm not sure. Definitely younger than she is in the comics, though. All right, so then we get, just kind of this. One is just a very plain open hand. The other one, her fingers are kind of curling a little bit. I don't know if that's supposed to be her using her powers in some way, or if it's just meant to be, a mid-action pose like that. But it's okay. At least she has alternate hands. All right, because I'm so new to the Legends scene, the only real group shot I can do is with America's Multiverse of Madness co-stars, Doctor Strange and Wong. So, sorry for not having a lot of variety, but, I mean, these are the only 3 figures I have so far, so... But they do strike a nice contrast to each other. You have these sorcerers who rely on the arcane and spells to do their combat, and then you have America, who's incredibly strong, superhumanly so, able to just punch her way through just about anything. And then she also just happens to be able to, hop through different universes, though you can't see that here. But at the very least, it makes for a nice group shot of our heroic characters from this movie, and just kind of helps whet the appetite for seeing it in theaters here whenever it comes out. I promise you, Marvel and Disney are not paying me to say this. I, just legitimately am hyped about this movie. So yeah, while the America figure itself is maybe not the most impressive thing out there, just because she is very plain, doesn't come with a lot, and not very posable, she at least works very well in some sort of ensemble display like this. And this completes our look at the new America Chavez figure. I'm going to be honest, I think this one's kind of the boring toy in the wave. There's nothing very exciting about the release. You just have this very small, bare bones figure, no special effects, no nothing. The posability is not fantastic. I actually want to do this really cool thumb shot of her doing kind of like that superhero landing pose. Like one hand like outstretched to the ground. She's going to have like one fist up, looking all cool. I couldn't do it though, because even if you get her legs up high enough, she doesn't have like the ab crunch or, back crunch to really look up and do anything worthwhile with it. So yeah, not my favorite. Which, I feel bad because that poor new character is not really getting a lot of love here. The Legends line, she really gets the dud figure. And I'm not saying it's a bad toy, right? It's not like it's defective or doesn't work right. It's just very bland and very lacking when it comes to posability. And I think the only thing that might be its saving grace is the fact that it just comes with a really, really big piece of the Build-A-Figure. If it weren't for that, I'd say this thing is a total ripoff for $20 to $25. There's just no way. But because it does come with that big old torso, and that's pretty complicated, I kind of see where the budget went. It's just very disappointing as a standalone figure. So, personally, I could really only recommend this if you're just a big fan of the America Chavez character, or you really want to complete the wave and complete your Rintrah figure. Because otherwise, there's way cooler stuff out there than this. It's just, I don't know. I want to like it, but I also just can't help but be disappointed by how little there is to really do with this toy. She's there, girl in a jacket, can kind of halfway pose maybe. So yeah, I don't know. Perhaps I'm being too harsh on this thing, because at the end of the day, that is just my opinion of it. So now, I want to know what you all think of this figure. Do you see yourself picking this up? Is it something that appeals to you, either for the character or, the figure itself? Or maybe you're just trying to complete, the movie cast or the Rintrah wave? Or are you not interested? Either, for the reasons that I've listed, that's just too simple or whatever. Or there's some other reason you don't want to collect it. Maybe you don't like the character. Any and all feedback's always welcome in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at the new Marvel Legends Rintrah Wave America Chavez. And with all that said, I will see you next time.